What's up, bookworms? Welcome to episode 103 of the Cantina Book Club podcast, where readers can find interviews with authors of all genres. I'm Megan, self-proclaimed content queen, here to bring you insights from the authors themselves. Each week features a Cantina conversation with an author. Sometimes they're returning guests, and sometimes it's someone new. So please be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on an episode, and feel free to browse through existing episodes so that you can catch a previous interview about a book you've finished. I try to be spoiler free, but the conversations will be enjoyable if you've read the book. The conversation will be here when you're ready. Just a heads up that I often use to express my feelings towards these authors and their work. I'm encouraging to just get all in listening ears. Books coming out this week of September 9th. We've got All This Could Be Yours. She's going to be a guest. The interview with her is going to be coming up in a few weeks. And Wicked Believer by Kate Ballinger. Her interview is also going to be coming up this month as well. I've read both of these books, interviewed both of these authors, and they're both so much fun and great conversations ahead. So make sure you tune in for those and pick up those books. If you need podcast recommendations, please do check out Book Podcast Connection on Instagram. It's a group of over 100 bookish themed podcasts, ranging from book club discussions, interviews, analyses on book to film adaptations, and everything in between. I definitely recommend you check those out if you want more out of your reading lists, and for any podcast you listen to, as well as Cantina Book Club. Give me 5 stars. It helps me to reach more listeners for bookish podcast recommendations. So today's returning guest. We're talking about her book, The Shattered King. That book just came out. I finding out all her insights into her building, how prolific she is. If you don't know, she's a best-selling author and she's got tons of titles under her belt. But without further ado, here is Charlie N. Holmberg.
So today we've got Charlie N. Holmberg. We're talking about her book, The Shattered King. That book is available on September 2nd. Charlie, I think nice to see you again. I think this is maybe the fourth time we're talking about your prolific life, about one of your titles. So I was just thinking about it because I finished this book a couple days ago, and I'm like, whenever I see your name on a title, I think story. So The Shattered King was definitely one of those. I'm excited to dig a little bit deeper today.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. And yeah, thanks for having me again.
Yeah. I always joke with people who I speak to multiple times. I'm like, after 5 guest spots, you get a jacket. So
Say one more.
okay. So to get started, can you provide a summary of the book so people can follow along?
Yeah. So The Shattered King is about a woman with healing the prince on the other side. He's been sick for 20 years to make him better. And so she plans to go and fail because she has too much. She has 7 siblings. But when she gets there, accidentally does a good job and does more than anybody else has. And so she's forced to become his personal physician until she can cure what seems to be an incurable illness. Meanwhile, her siblings have no one back home, and there's a war brewing on the border.
Yeah. Yeah. Another magic filled world building one who I love that kind of that premise where I'm just going to fail on purpose. This isn't my concern. My family's my concern. She's got a little tragic, not a fun backstory at all. So yeah, she's got bigger fish to fry. She is it's not her priority, but she's literally but ordered to go check it out. But I love that attitude right off the bat. I'm just gonna do this and get her over with and then come back. And then whoopsie, okay, I'm actually figuring something out. So to get into your background a little bit, I feel like you got so many ideas and you just keep pumping them out. Maybe with respect to The Shattered King, how this idea came to mind, what brought this story to the world, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I released a book last year. Actually, right here. Look, let's promote 2 books. Oh no. I released a nonfiction book last year called Charlie and Holmberg's Book of Magic. And it's a craft book. It's how to write magic systems. And there is a appendix in the end of commonly used magic systems. And the idea of this appendix is that you can either choose to use one of these magic systems and it will have a low learning curve. If we open on page 1, we're running from a vampire. we know exactly why we're running from a vampire because we all know what the vampire is, right? Number two is like you would take something from this list and put a new spin on it, do something like new and unique. And this is what Stephanie Meyer did, going back to vampires. Stephanie Meyer did with Twilight. And the third one would be avoid everything on this list if you want to be really original and stand out. And so usually I try to veer towards that last one. But I was thinking, okay, what if I take my own advice and utilize this and I try to put a cool twist on something that's. And so I just randomly chose healing. And I started thinking, what could I do to make healing more interesting? And I came up with this idea of having a Loomis, which is this like ethereal space that everybody has that's a representation of that. It could be a picture, it could be a wall, it can be scales, it can be a menagerie. And whenever you have something injured or broken or sick, it shows up in there like a brick crumbling apart. And so a healer can enter this space and fix it. And I really liked the idea. And at the time, I was playing Final Fantasy 16 with my
Nice.
husband, and I really loved this character in there named Joshua, who was a prince and who should have been like very powerful, but he was very sick and just never seemed to be able to get better. And I just loved him. And so I just like, I'm going to put this and I'm going to put it in my story. That's where it took off.
That's really cool. I'll have to check out that like guide to magic because obviously you just have so much like you're such an experienced published author I feel like you would be one of the names amongst the few that would have a good like guideline. You'd have like you've tried a lot of things, right? Like you and your words have gone through lots of brains, especially like editors or whoever is on your team before it hits a mass of readers. And I imagine you've had like quite a bit of thick skin by now. You're just okay, like what? Go for it. Just don't. Just please be nice. Because yeah, I feel like with everything, it's your little baby and like it's dear to you, and so it can be hard to be like, no, this is super important. That kind of hopping off of that, like the research and stuff, was there anything, did you approach this besides, what else did you do besides the idea popped in your head from a video game? Was there anything maybe you needed clarity on, or maybe anything fascinating that you learned that while researching?
Yeah, you know what's so funny is usually it's like I start with so much research and I start with so much outlining and I storyboard everything. But like I had the basic idea of where I wanted the book to go, and it was just like banging on the door. And so I was actually on a vacation when I was like, I have to start this. Like I have to start it. And so I just started writing it, and I discovery wrote quite a bit of the book because I just wanted to discover write it. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna make this a fantasy world ever because but then it ended up illustrations and revisions and discovering ended up being more than it was. One of the things I definitely did a lot of research in was how to handle like chronic illness because that's essentially what our love interest has. Actually, part of him was inspired by my husband's cousin who underwent some similar things. And she was so gracious and was willing to answer all my questions about it. Like, I know her, like, we've been kind to each other, but we don't like know about like besties. Like, we don't talk that much. But she was so nice about it all. And people were like, surprisingly, like, people are so willing to help you. Like, you're always worried, like, oh, will it be offended if I ask them questions about this or whatever? But people are so kind and so willing to guide you and put themselves out there, and that's amazing. I also had to do a lot of research about bees.
Yeah.
And so I did my favorite thing, which is getting juvenile nonfiction from the library because it's to the point and has pictures.
Yes.
And so I did a lot of research on bees, which ended up helping me figure out this big twist at the end about how they're going to fix the healing plot line. And that was really cool too.
There's something like a little wholesome about bees and beekeeping. I just think bees are so important. I'm not like obsessed with them, but I have a fondness with them. I'm going to leave them be. I'm going to be like, you won't find trouble with me. You're doing important work. You're doing very important work. And it's the beekeepers and the people who run apiaries and stuff like that. Yes, I don't know why, but I love the fact that that's what they do. That's what her family does.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that.
Have you seen that woman? I imagine she's on TikTok too. I see her on Facebook where she's Save the bees.
Yeah.
It just goes into these like wild hives and like transfers them to a box and has a little queen and a clip.
Yeah. I've seen a
So
couple of
relaxing.
those. And yeah, because it really does. They're just like, they don't even get aggressive. They're just, oh, what's going on? They don't even, they're just probably, oh, the queen. That's like the high anxiety moments I see when I do watch those videos. Some of them, yeah, they're like really fascinating for sure. And also something else. So with the chronic illness, the handful of titles that I've read of yours, was that something new for you to like peek into? Have you done a lot of stories where you had to dig a little bit deeper and maybe get outside your comfort zone or seek help for something that's sensitive to the person in question?
I'm like just like sensitive or different things like that for sure, but with chronic illness, not so much.
Yeah.
Like we always have that trope with I love, which is the whole, the caretaker trope. Oh, you got injured. Now we're gonna fall in love while I nurse you
Yeah.
back to health. But it's usually like with an injury or something like that, not with something like so reoccurring and difficult to deal with. And so that was definitely really interesting. I feel like often in stories, whether you intend to or not, there's always going to be something where you have to step outside your bubble, right? It's not, especially if you're not writing memoir, you're going to be stepping
Yeah.
outside your bubble. And I think being able to embrace that and not just like being brave, but being okay with the fear of that, I think it can help you as a person, like me as an author. Like it helps me as an author, but hopefully it will also help people who read it because I want to be able to say these things in not just a tactful, but hopefully a beautiful way, and to be able to be like these people can be heroes and stuff like that.
Yeah, because yeah, it is like a little bit of you don't wanna be exploitive about it, but you wanna handle it with care and you wanna handle it with seriousness and authenticity. And also, I think it adds a level of there's a certain chunk of your readers that's gonna resonate with them. And
I really hope so.
they're gonna appreciate that, yeah, hopefully, right? Because it's like the prince's personality, you can tell he's just like over it and he's just gone through years and years of his mother like doting on him and helicopter parent and just being thrust into these positions, but he can't do anything about it. People are like watching and caring, and he's lost hope, I imagine, by like maybe year two. Like
Right.
after how like years and years of healers or people, physicians and what have you, coming to try to see if they can figure things out. Like I feel like I felt for him. Yeah, of course he was a grump, but of course it was like I totally sympathize with him just because like I can imagine like year after year, doctor after doctor, healer after healer, and nothing comes of it. And so
Yeah.
he's just okay. Now we got another one. He's not gonna bother like looking at them. Like he was so sick of it. And I felt so bad for him. It reminded me of some other stories. I think for some reason it reminds me of like Me Before You. I think it was like by Jojo
Oh yeah.
Moyes. Yeah, where it was he's done, he's over it. And not to say that this has that dark take, but what it does to the human psyche and like in the
Yeah.
context of the situation. And then especially in the fantasy world, you find a way to draw in those elements that readers can still identify with and recognize and relate to, hopefully.
I know to say hopefully.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think that's like super cool. And it was just like, of course, yeah, a little tropey. It's funny as I like progress through my notes, I progress through the story, like some parts become a little more unhinged, like with exclamation points and like mad face. Cause yeah, hopping back onto like sensitive themes and we will try to be like a little bit spoiler free, but Nim is like dealing with PTSD in addition to the stress of being like a mom as a sister. And so I guess I kind of get that like because you do get it like in your other stories, you don't necessarily shy away from like serious matters, but I guess it just sometimes it could be tricky to navigate, especially with a character that is a real and serious like condition that she herself like and other people definitely deal with like day after day.
Yeah. And like honestly, it's like I used to shy away from the serious conditions because I would just be so afraid of offending someone. Oh, somebody might be bothered by this. Someone might be offended. Somebody might be triggered. And so I'm like, I can't talk about this huge list of things in any books. But I think the further I've progressed in this career and in my ability to storytell, you start realizing it's like these are stories that need to be told. These are things that happen to people, especially in book two. I actually have an author's note on there saying this this has these kinds of abuse and stuff in it. It might
Yeah.
not be suitable, but it's like the way that the story ended up going, this is what would happen to these people. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, this is what would happen. I want to address it with as much grace as possible, but it's like these shape people. Like, these
Yeah.
traumas that we all have in our past, they shape who we are. And so I wanted to be able to address that and show somebody who, if they haven't already, at least trying to persevere through those things, and that there are still good things ahead, even when we have dark things in our past.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is like trigger warnings are there for a reason. Cause I think it's like it could go one or two ways. It's like it could definitely like potential is like a potential trigger, or it could be almost like a source of like comfort, maybe almost therapeutic for readers to just like who have dealt with that and who do struggle with some of these things. They can feel a little bit more like a stronger connection with the characters. Yeah. And then this was like third person POV, right? I think it was. Oh no, it was
First person.
first person. Okay. I'm like, I started reading like another fantasy novel and I'm like, okay, I always try to keep track of everything. So I'm like POV, Nim. Okay. Got it. But
Listen, 100%. I have sat down to write one day and then written in a completely different, like, it's like the whole thing's in first and now I'm writing in third and I'm like 2 pages in. I'm like, what am I doing? And
yeah.
I go back.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times.
Yeah. Do you have a method or just like when you're choosing, or does it just whatever feels right or what the character tells you to
It
do?
really is. It's whatever feels right. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I've noticed a lot lately, like the second half of my repertoire, whenever I write high fantasy, it tends to be first person. Like, I just started defaulting to that. I've written present tense a couple times, but usually it's starting to be more first person past. And then when I write historical fantasy, it's almost always third person. So why? I don't know. It's just how my brain translates it.
That's so funny. Yeah, because I just finished Wind and Truth last night, the Stormlight Archive, and I did it all on audiobook, all 5 books. And because the narrators are amazing. They both did an amazing job. Otherwise, I don't think I would have been able to do it because it's like 250 hours of audiobook for like all of them. But it's like with audiobooks, it's like you're listening versus like reading like on the page. And for some of his books, he tends to in mid chapter, he'll switch POVs. And so when I'm listening, I'm like, wait, did I catch that? Wait, who are we with now? So it just reminds me of where you gotta like figure it out and keep track of yourself. Like it's funny. It's like funny to hear that writers such as yourself are like dealing. Oh shit, what did I do? Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny. Okay, so this is a 2-parter. What were the most challenging parts to write? What were the most enjoyable parts to write?
Okay, let me tell you what the most challenging part is, and it's mostly book 2. So, if you haven't noticed, I don't like writing about royalty. I don't like
Yeah.
princes. I don't even like writing about them. I don't want any dukes. I don't want any barons. None of them in my story. I want to write about peasants. One, because I think they're more interesting, but also
Yeah.
because it's simpler.
Yeah.
And but when I had this idea for the book, it's gonna. I was also having a midlife crisis at the point, so something went wrong.
Oh no.
But no, it has to be like it has to be royalty, and unfortunately, when it's royalty, that means politics.
Yeah.
Discovery writing this, oh no, there's a war,
Yeah.
and I don't love war, like war strategy and stuff like that. It's just it doesn't tickle my knickers personally, but that's what I ended up having to do with this story.
Yeah.
That was definitely the
Yeah.
hardest part. That takes the most planning and thinking and like outside of my comfort zone intelligence one. It's like I'm a smart person in certain categories.
Yeah. Or you're an expert for like however many thousands of words that you need to be.
Yes,
Like,
exactly. And then
yeah.
once you hit past that, it's like, nope, we're done.
Yep.
I'll talk to you about hair all day.
Yeah.
But my favorite, one of the things with Shattered King is that this is an it for me. That's like a Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Every interview I do, I swear I talk about Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It's about writing from your id, and essentially it boils down to writing what you just like can't. And because I was discovery writing so much of this, I just absolutely embraced that. I don't care how tropey it is. I don't care how cliche it is. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. And it made the book really fun. I am a huge slow burn romance fan. That's my jam. And so being able to, and it felt free. Like, I'm just going to embrace the trope and do the slow burn, however it makes my heart pitter patter. And I really, really enjoyed writing the relationship building between Nim and Ren. So that was probably my favorite part.
I did enjoy it too. It's funny because part of me is I have a hate love relationship with the slow burn because I'm like, I'll just do it. I'll just get there. Just get there. Like, just.
Yeah.
But it's like we love it as readers. Like, we eat that shit up. We're just like the
Oh,
romance part
absolutely.
of it. And then where it's just like the tension that's part of the fun. And you're just waiting. And just, I love that he was like falling for her first and she was like, absolutely not. And then she had other, I think it was like one of the other servants was like trying to pick her up. She had to shut men down like left and right. I was like, dang girl, but it's going back to the PTSD. But I love that she eventually, she couldn't help it. And then at the risk of being spoilery with, she gets like called on it by her brother, which I was like, it was so cute, like for a younger brother thing, but not like a teasing way. He's just kind of okay, get real. I can just imagine like in present day, he would have been like, sis, come on, be real with yourself.
There's a very different sibling reaction in book 2 that I really
Okay.
yeah. I'm excited for you to get there.
Yeah, I know. I would be too because it's just like her being the oldest of seven. That's like crazy to me. And then also, that the fact that you could tell like she takes that responsibility so seriously and she cares about them. But then also she's got to be able to pump up when she has to be gone. She's like hyping up her younger sister who's got to take over. And she's just, no, you can do this. It's okay. She's going through because she's being treated horribly and the Prince Ren, he doesn't have any idea about that, which I feel like I don't know. First of all, I was like, boy, how do you not know what's going on? Like, how do you not know?
I think he knows a little bit, but that's the thing too. Like, we have all these. I see a lot of royal characters who are just sweethearts, and I'm like, no, he is stuck up. He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has like his own hardships, but he also grew up in a freaking castle with people waiting on him hand and foot. So
Yeah. He's just a little bit ignorant, like blissfully ignorant about it.
exactly.
Like, yeah. And then he's just wait, but like as soon as he starts developing feelings for her, then that's when he like pays a little bit more attention. And she's no, like I have to sneak off to bathe. She it's no, I haven't eaten all day, blah blah blah. And then when he sees how serious things are, like for her own health, because she's just day and night. But I just loved it where he was just like little puppy dog eyes for her, and she's just don't do this to me. But then her brother's, I could see it. I could see it, sister. That's so funny. I love it. I love there's like something to be said about that like sibling camaraderie and your family, even as close as they are, like they know her either way. I imagine she has certain tells where even though she just doesn't even have time for that, she's no, I'm worried about my survival and my family's survival and the bees. I'm not interested because I don't like men are trash. She's just her horrible experiences so far. What do you hope readers get out of The Shattered King?
Oh man. Honestly, with any of my books, the thing that I want people to have the most is just a good story. Like I hope that readers can enjoy it even a fraction of the amount I enjoyed writing it, because this book was such a whirlwind for me. Like, I was addicted to it. I wrote it in 15 days.
That's wild. That is so crazy. Were you just writing from like dawn to dusk?
Basically, it's
Like you
what is food and
you were
digest
you
pills.
were channeling your inner Nim, or you were projecting that onto her situation.
Oh my gosh, that's so. I've never thought of similarities. Like, she's working all day, so am I.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing I always want people to get is just I want them to have a good story. I want them to have the escape that they want. I want them to feel things like when I read a book, like I want my heartstrings to be plucked to hell. That's what I want. And so that's always been the main goal for me. But if I can ever like share something through these characters' experiences, through my experiences that can help somebody or inspire somebody, like obviously that's amazing as well. We just hope you set it out into the world, and you just have to hope and pray and then try not to look, because
Yeah.
it's so subjective.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine how kind of reminds me of humility, but also like it's a little awkward, right? It's like a little
It is a
awkward
little
about
awkward.
yeah.
It's like, it
That's
took
so
me,
funny.
I still don't love doing it, but it took me forever to learn how to sell myself behind a table, like convince people to buy my book. I'm like, no, I just want to be in the bathroom and let somebody else pitch my book to someone.
Or can you just record it ahead of time so you don't have to talk to people? You
Have
could
my
just be
face on
like,
one of those robots that like wheels around.
okay, hit play.
Exactly.
I know, that's so funny. Maybe someday, maybe that will be an option. But no, it's so true because it's just, I imagine, I hope you know that you're a rock star. But yeah, it's awkward to see, this is like another awesome story by me because look at all my titles before. You're going to get something good. It's just,
I
which
hope so.
at least that's personally how I feel because I think I have read, yeah, we talked about Spellbreaker and Spellmaker, and then we talked about Star Mother. So then, yeah, this would be number 4, but fourth conversation. But yeah, because I just remember I have seen your name like so much just because you keep pumping out work. And it's just like crazy to me how. And then I love it how you got the idea from playing a video game version of a high fantasy like
It's not the first
storyline.
time I've gotten an idea from
And I love that it was Final Fantasy because Final Fantasy, it's so crazy. I remember I was so obsessed. I think it was like Final Fantasy 8 all those years ago. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
I beat it like 4 times. That's how
Mine was
obsessed I was.
9. I
Yeah.
9.
Yeah. One of the more popular ones, I feel like everybody loves 7 though, which I've
Yeah.
never played.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like because they're re-releasing it. So I never played 7 either. But when I say I play, I mean my husband does all the fighting. Like battle. But we replayed because they're releasing 7 in 4 parts. I think it's something crazy. And so we've played through part 1, and I like it. And I'm like, I like the fantasy more than the sci-fi, but I do 7. And so we started part 2, but we haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, I think I read something about that because I'm not much of a gamer. I keep up with things a little bit just because my husband plays and then my kids, my 7-year-old, he's going to be 8 tomorrow, which is crazy. But I could tell he's taking that part of my husband's personality where he's drawn to the video games. And it's funny because it's just, I like playing video games too, but I just don't have, if I wasn't such a crazy like bookworm, I might be spending more hours because I've done it before as a
Yeah.
teenage,
Also,
a child.
for me, it has to have a great story. If it's not like a
Yeah.
great story, like I will, I get so bored. It's even
Yeah.
like games like that are so cute. Dave the Diver, it's such a cute, fun video game. But it's like after a while, but there's no like epic romance or big battles. And so I have a hard time with that if you're not like great RPGs.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I know, and it's so fun. Yeah, it does get like where you have fun watch, like you said, watch maybe it's something that's fun to do with your partner, and also like with my son, he asked me to play with him. I'm like, I will play Mario Kart or like Mario Jamboree or Superstars where they do the board games with the mini games and stuff like that. But he always wants to play Smash, which I'm like, which I'm not good at all. Yeah, I'm not good at all. So he says, "No Smash Brothers, Mom." I'm like, "Okay, I will play 1 round with you, but if you want to play more, we're gonna do Mario Kart because that's where it's just gonna be easy. I could just chill and it's like I'm not that good. I'm not that good at video games in general. I just do it for fun.
Same.
So it's just yeah. So it's just he's a worthy opponent for me because I'm not, because I'm not that good and he's getting better at it. It's really funny because I'll tease him. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna beat your butt. And he's, Mom, you're horrible. What are you talking about? Like, you're so bad at this. It's like, yeah, I know. Leave me alone. That's a fun activity to do with like your family and stuff. And just it can be easy to get sucked in, but then like you said, it can be easy to get disengaged and be like,
Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah, for
Just
sure.
depends on how they do it.
Yeah. I started asking authors this, what are you doing to take care of yourself? Are there maybe like any shows or podcasts or books that you're looking at or any activities that you just do yourself to relax and make sure you're in a good headspace when you're maybe either working on sensitive topics or you just need a break, stuff like that?
Yeah, I really love going on like walks and stuff like that. I love going on walks. That's the best time for like me to just unwind and almost be my own therapist. Cause like I can get like
It's
thinking
like,
about the things, and I don't know. I feel like even if you think you have nothing in your brain and you go on a long walk, by the time you come back, you've untangled some kind of like deep-rooted emotional thing you didn't even realize you had. And like I feel like it's emotionally healthy to go on walks. So I always love doing that. I love like the sunshine and stuff. I'm sad that winter's coming up. I have
yeah.
so many lamps I break out in the winter.
Oh no.
But I'm definitely take care of your body will take care of your brain kind of person, and then taking breaks when I need to take breaks. because like I have burnt out a couple times in the past and have like little bouts of like health issues and stuff, and I hate them.
Yeah.
Especially like when I get so much of my value from my career, and it's like, oh,
Yes.
I can't write because something broke up here. It really sucks. And so, okay, we'll take the breaks now, so you're not forced to take the break later.
Yeah. No, I definitely hear you on that because I got laid off like a few months ago and it was
Oh
like, so
no.
I'm like, yeah. And it is. It's like, when I'm like in my late 30s, so I've had an established, I'm confident in like my skill set. Like I know I'm a strong candidate for a lot of different types of jobs, mostly like marketing, but it's just like, enjoy being a Jill of all trades. Like I know how to like graphic design, email marketing, paid ads, websites, stuff like that. But it can be tricky, and especially now in this job market. But yeah, it takes a lot of work that's how I relate. Just like what you said reminds me of. It's like it takes a lot of work to not connect like your self worth to your success and like your career, because that's definitely something that's I've had to work at. Like and even almost like all of my career ever since I graduated from college, where I was so driven and like I was so focused on it, and it's really hard to kind of like separate. Oh wait, who am I outside of that? It's yeah, I'm a mom, but now I'm like it's because of that where I'm like, I need to like contribute income. What is it's like it's another thing, and it's luckily I don't know. I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, where like I'm still applying, but I'm also like doing freelancing where I'm still like during projects like that's I get a lot of fulfillment out of that because I'm helping like smaller businesses like figure things out that they don't have time for, or they just have such anxiety because they don't know what to do. And then I'm
Mhm.
coming in here and so I got you. So it's like just I get so much like joy out of their joy, and they're like putting them at ease. Get so much of that I couldn't necessarily get from like a 9 to 5. So I'm like still I'm looking at my options. But yeah, exactly your sentiment about trying to just compartmentalize maybe those two parts of yourself where it's like your self-worth is 24/7
Mhm.
and your career is like one part of you. And it's as successful as you are, I imagine that's just like super difficult and tricky to figure out for yourself. So I'm glad that no, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Like the vitamin D and movement for sure. Like I'm trying to get back into running and it's hard because I'm like, I feel like I've just
Really
gotten
hard.
off track. I've gotten off track. And so I'm just trying to get back into it, at least for the longer miles. I'm just, you know what? If I walk a little bit, it's okay. My dog, she's 11 years old. So she's still trucking along with me. I'm like, okay, you want to walk? All right, I'll walk. Let's take a break. But no, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I think a little bit can go a long way for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. No, I'm glad. I'm glad that you're figuring something out. At least I would hope so by now. Like after how long have you been writing?
Figure out one way to. The funny thing is, it's give it another few years and something will change, and I'll have to figure it out all over
Yeah.
again. It's like we're always evolving and changing, and who
Exactly.
knows?
I know that's like another thing that I try to like just reassure myself. I'm like, no, I've been in this position before. Like it's gonna be tricky. I'm like, I just have to like give myself a little pep talk. Megan, you're a bad bitch. You can do this. Like, yeah, it's like just one day at a time. Like tomorrow's a new day. So just a few more questions before we wrap up here. You've been mentioning book two without getting yourself in trouble. What can readers expect out of? Because cliffhanger, I didn't realize that it was not a standalone. I was like, so that cliffhanger, I was like, damn it, Charlie.
The cliffhanger will be resolved in book two. That's the thing. I can't really say too much without spoiling. But for
Yeah.
people who hate cliffhangers, the main plot of book one is resolved. It's just this other part gets hung a little bit. But book two comes out in March, so it's less than a year to wait. And hopefully,
Perfect.
you do a good job of forgetting
Yeah.
everybody.
You're sorry, not that.
Sorry.
What advice do you have for Ren? What advice do you have for Nim?
Oh, advice for Ren. Okay. Ren is so interesting because the first thing I thought of, I don't know, because Ren has an interesting dynamic of humility and pride. He's still proud in some things, but he's been so very humbled by his experiences. And honestly, I think Nim's very similar. She's very
Mm,
proud in some ways, but very humbled by her experiences. And what would I say? For Nim, it's like she needs to be more trusting and a little less stubborn. Try to go in with a little bit more optimism. Trust the people that you love. And then with Ren, oh man, he goes through the ringer.
yeah.
It's just believe in yourself that you can be the person that you need to be. I'm like, how am I going to word this? Like, that you can be this person that not only you need to be, but that everybody around you needs to be. Like, you do have that capability.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like even as I got to know him from, at least me personally, when I got to know him throughout the book, I had the confidence for him. I was like, you could do this, dude. Like, you got this. It just sucks that you did not, things happen where you have no choice now. Because it's like in a matter of months, he went from being not even be able to like get up by himself to having a lot on his shoulders, like a
Yeah,
lot
that's
on
all
his
we can
plate.
say. There's
Yeah.
a lot on
Yeah.
his shoulders.
So where can we find you online and on social media?
Okay, so online, my website is charlienholmberg.com. It's CharlieNHolmberg.com. And then I am the most present on Instagram at CN Holmberg. I'm also on Facebook at CN Holmberg. I have a real sad little TikTok corner that I have a love-hate relationship with. Also at CN Holmberg. You can find me just about anywhere at CN Holmberg, but the ones that I really pay attention to are Instagram, and because they're connected, Facebook.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. No, I'm right there with you. It's like where is like the most impactful, like where you enjoy it, but also like where you can reach more people
Yeah.
and where your audience, your readers are gonna find you and keep up with you. Because I do TikTok because of this stuff. And
Yeah.
like it can be super tricky because it's just like I do my best not to even just lurk and get myself sucked into whatever algorithm it's learning about me.
Oh
It can be
man,
super
I
tricky.
never felt more like a millennial than after I joined TikTok, because I only joined like a few months ago, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But like, I know how to do Instagram, but I don't know how to do TikTok.
I'm like, wait, how this video to edit is taking me forever on this little phone. What am I doing? Like, how do these people do it? And they make it look like so good. Commitment and the quality. And it's hilarious too. Like some people are
Yeah.
super funny and it's crazy. But it's like when I just do like stuff, I'll post like clips or whatever. I'm like, that's so I just schedule a bunch so that I don't have to like just do it, put it out there. I don't have to worry about it
Like,
for a
and you
couple
don't want
weeks.
to look at.
Yeah, exactly. Just notification. I'll look at that later. Okay, so The Shattered King by Charlie N. Holmberg. That comes out on September 2nd. Charlie, thank you for your time and for your answers and for tiptoeing with me about everything that you've got going on in this book and then what you're preparing for readers. Is it going to be a duology then, or is it going to be a
Yes,
trilogy?
2 books.
Duology. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, that's good. That's comforting. Because I don't think won't be pissed off after the second book. Or maybe, at least not in that. Yeah, yes. Perfect. Perfect. But yeah, if and when you're ready to start marketing book number 2, feel free to come back. I'd love to chat again.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being here.
And there you go. That was Charlie N. Holmberg talking about her book, The Shattered King. That book is available now. Check out the show notes where you can find links where to purchase the book, where to follow Charlie online and on social media. While you're browsing online and on social media, please also find Cantina Book Club. Give those accounts a like and a follow and a subscribe. If you need more book recommendations, check out cantinabookclub.com or any of those accounts as well. Rate, review, subscribe. It really does help me out and reach more readers like you. And if you do find books that you like, one of the best way to help is to give them a rating and a review online, like on Amazon or Goodreads if you can. It's such an easy, simple, and quick way to help them out. And as always, thank you guys so much for listening.